Hey, I'm Heather, and in this week's video, we are still talking sex toys, and this week, we're talking sex toys for bums. And I'm gonna get a little giddy in this video, and it's for a couple reasons. Number one, everybody has a bum, so I really like the fact that this video is something everyone can relate to. I don't have to worry about gender neutral language or any of those things because everybody has a bum. The second thing that makes me really excited about this is people have a lot of stuff and shame and taboo and feelings around their butts and around anal play and all those things. I mean, like they question what it means about their sexual orientation. They question what it means about their like moral nature as a good person or a bad person. And as a sexuality empowerment coach, the stuff I do one-on-one with people is I talk to people about all their struggles with sexuality and their shame and their guilt and their taboo and answer people's questions that you can't just go ask anyone else. So these are the topics that get me really excited, the topics that bring up a lot of stuff for people. So sex toys for bums. First thing you need to know is even though everybody has a bum and it might seem like a great idea to share your toys, that is not something you should be doing, okay? If you do want to share toys with a partner, you need to make sure that everyone gets their own condom. And that toys are cleaned thoroughly between use. And especially if toys are porous, then definitely be extra good about your condom use. If your toys aren't porous, like they're Pyrex or they're metal or they're silicone, then you can pop them in a pot of boiling water. You can give them a really good cleaning and you can be a little less stringent on that. But best practice, condoms for everybody is when we're using toys for bums. Also, please don't go mixing up places you're inserting them into, okay? If something has been in your butt, then you need to change out the condom or clean it thoroughly before you're sticking it in any other holes because bacteria transfers, and that's not something you want to have to deal with when you're having sexy times. Final note of caution, do not put anything in there that does not have a flared base. This is super important. Anal cavities are deep and surprisingly deep. So if you're not careful and don't have things with a flared base, you can lose things up there. And people do go to the ER for extractions. That is not something you probably want in your life. So make sure you're using things that have a flared base so nothing will slip in accidentally. So what can you put in your butt? There's a lot of stuff. A great way that people get introduced to anal play is through butt plugs, and they're usually pretty small, although you can get them in a variety of sizes, in a variety of widths, and in a variety of materials. So silicone, metal, wood, ceramic, it's something that gets referred to as glass, but it's not really your average glass. It's borosilicate glass. So that means it's able to withstand more pressure, more heat, also commonly known as Pyrex. So if you're going to be shopping for glassware, and there's all sorts of really pretty, beautiful glassware butt plugs that have colors and jewels, and some even have tails attached to the end, but make sure you're using a toy that is designed for this. Another toy you can use are anal beads, and I personally think they're a great way for people to start because you get a lot of variety and option with anal beads. They start small, they get bigger, and it's all kind of like down a long chain. So if you aren't sure what size is going to be comfortable for you or what width is going to be comfortable for you, beads are great because you just keep going up and up and up until you don't want to go up anymore. Dildos and dongs, again, those are things you can put in your bum. Make sure they have a flared base. Some people do find them a little rigid, but some people like that, some people don't. So play with them, see what you think and what you like and what your own personal preference is. And then in a separate category-ish from dildos and dongs, because sometimes people do overlap these two, but prostate massagers are another butt toy that you can play with. Now, everybody does have a bum, but not everyone has a prostate. So this is kind of only relevant to people with prostates, but you know, you might have someone that you love that has a prostate or someone that you love getting sexy with that has a prostate. So pay attention anyways. So prostate massagers are similar to dildos and dongs, but they usually have some kind of curve on the end that's used for massaging the prostate. Sometimes they have handles, sometimes they have vibrators. There's all sorts of options in and around that too that you can do. If you're new to anal play and you want a little bit more control, you might also want to consider an inflatable toy, and pretty much all of these things do come in inflatable options. Another great thing about the inflatable is that choice it gives you. You can pump it up as thick as you want. So you can start off something slower and pump and pump and pump until you get to a width that you're comfortable with. Some extra things about playing with butt toys: make sure you have lube on hand. Some people prefer a thicker lube like boy butter or F-lube. Some people prefer silicone lube for this as opposed to a thinner or water-based lube, just because it sticks around longer. Your butt is not a self-lubricating cavity in the same way that, your mouth or your vagina is, if you have a vagina. And consider stocking up on some gloves to play with, just in case things get a little messy. And if you're going to be doing any finger play while you're back there, gloves are a great idea, because the tissue around the anus is delicate, and nails or anything like that can cut and nick accidentally, which makes you more susceptible to any risk of diseases or infection, any of those things. I touched on it a little bit at the beginning of the video, but just to reiterate, no, playing with your butt does not make you, gay. It has no effect on your sexual orientation. It doesn't mean anything about you morally as a person. If you like having your butt played with, there's a lot of nerve endings in that area of the body. So there's a lot of sensation to be played with and a lot of feelings to be had. Plus, there's the added, fun, if you're into playing with shame and fun and taboo, that can come with all of that. So those are sex toys for bums. Again, you can check over on my website, AuthenticSexualYou.com, where I have listed out the sex toy shops that I personally recommend to people. And once again, I'll link that in the description below. And sorry this was a longer video, but bums, they get me excited. So next week, I'll see you again, and we'll be doing one more week on sex toys. And then it'll be Christmas. Yay. All right, bye.